This is a video for wood turners. Specifically, people would like to be able to design bowls and things, but can't draw a straight line with a ruler. There's a program called SketchUp. It's by Google. You can download it. If you go Google and look for SketchUp download, you should be able to find sites that'll have it that you can download. It comes in Windows, Mac, and Linux. There are all kinds of YouTube videos on how to use it, but this one will tell you how to use it for designing for wood turning. So when you open up the document, you've got a work area in 3D space. It usually won't come in looking like this. What you want to do is go up under Preferences when you first get started, go to Template, and then pick Woodworking Millimeters. The reason you want to do that is because the units are in millimeters, and you can go to 1/10 of a millimeter. There's 25.4 millimeters per inch. So you've got a precision of 1/254th of an inch. That's not bad. So here's what I'm going to show you. You end up with these. You've got a virtual 3D set of bowls, but you also have the profiles, and you've got templates that you can print that have all the control points, the top, the bottom, where these curves have transitions. So from here to that curve is right there. This curve to that curve is right here. Here's the top of the bowl. So you can cut this out as you're turning, compare what you're turning with what the profile is that you designed. Before you start turning, you can hold it up, this end up against your piece, your blank, and mark out the top, bottom, and where your transitions are, and then start turning. You can also make another template for the inside of the bowl. So if you want to see how close you are to the perfect profile, you've got it right there. So the first thing you want to do is, it's real easy to get lost in this space, and there are different views. So if we go with, it normally comes in perspective. So you notice this angle doesn't look like it's square. Go up under Camera, pull down, and say Parallel Projection. Now this angle is square, and so forth. So you want to get in the front view. Use the rectangular tool. Click in the upper left and pull down to the lower right. And down here you can specify what the dimensions are in millimeters. Or you can type in inches if you want. Making it 11 inches by 8.5 inches. Should have given you a piece of paper size, but who knows why that did that. So let me get rid of this. So you make this, if you select it, if you did this from right to left, anything that touches that little ant outline gets included. Once you've selected the lines that are outlining this dark area and the surface inside, you can do a Command G, or up under Edit, go down and do Make Group. This has already been grouped, so that will mean that these 4 lines and this surface are all acting as one object, or one entity is what they call it. So when we're mentioning entities, let's go up here under Windows and pull down until you see Entities Information. This will tell you about whatever you've selected, in this case this blue rectangle. If it doesn't have additional information like the word hidden, you just click on that arrow. If you click hidden, it looks like it's been deleted, but it's actually just hidden. You can go up under View and say Show Hidden, and you can see that it's still there. So we're going to put it back. Now, I would suggest that you start out with an inside diameter, because you want the bottom of the bowl to be a nice curve. You don't want a flat spot in the bottom. So if you click on the outside, hold down the right arrow key, it'll limit you to moving in the x-axis, the red axis. So you want this curve you're putting in to be tangent to that line. And we'll do the same here. Hold down the right arrow key, drag to the right. So take this 2-point curve, 3-point curve actually. Select the starting point, the end point, and you notice that it's going blue. It means it's tangent to this line. And when you click, it sets it. Do the same thing for the second curve. Now I want to add a foot to this, so let me make sure I'm seeing lines and edges. You want to go up under view and make sure you're showing edges. Profiles just accentuates the outline. But what I did was I went to a point here, drew a vertical line, then I used this tool to go from here to here to make that cove. Then you delete this line. So now I've got a profile, but it isn't closed yet because see, it's open up here. So to close that surface, because remember this background is a separate object. The profile that I'm drawing doesn't even know it's there. So we draw there, here, and then up. So now we should have a surface here. He said, and there it is. I can copy this by holding down the Option key and moving what I've selected and just drag to the right. Okay, that creates this. I can then take this, use the copy move tool, hold down the Option key, click and drag, and scale this thing horizontally. And look in the lower right, you'll see the word red scale. I want to go to -1, so I'll just put in -1. And now I've got a mirror image. I can then take that, drag it down here, and see what the profile of the total bowl is. So if you can't visualize the profile from just half of it, you can do this little trick. Now I'm looking at this and saying that foot's too tall. So if I draw a line across here, I can shorten it up a bit. That gets me this, and then I've changed this fillet using a 3-point tool, this one, or a 2-point. You go there and there. I stand corrected. Anyway, you can use the other tool as well, this one here. Not that one. You can always do a Command Z to undo any error that you made. Anyway, you can go from here to here and put that curve in. Actually, we've got an extra curve we want to get rid of. So we'll select it. One of these, that's the one we just added. So we've shortened up the foot a little bit. And now we've got this shape, and we've made a copy mirror image, so now we can see the profile. Now if we take just half of the full profile, select this circle tool. Down here, the program will default to it's not a true circle, it's 24 sides, but that's kind of clunky. So we'll go with 36. So each segment on this apparent circle is 10 degrees. So we make a circle there, and now if we click on that circle to highlight it, he said, I can go up here and use the Follow Me tool, get this profile and say follow that one, and you turn a bolt. We still got hidden lines, so we want to get rid of those to see this a little smoother, and we want to get rid of edges because there's a lot of little lines in there that are kind of distracting. So we go under view, go down to edges, get rid of edges and keep just the profile. Okay, so we're going to use the Command Z to undo. But you've seen how this was created. But this doesn't have enough of a curve on it. So I want to smooth that out a little bit. So I go back and cut these curves off a little bit, extend them, make that a little flatter, and I've got that. Whoops. Now, if I copy this, I can do a quick variation. Option, click and drag with the move tool, move copy tool. Use to move around, select scale, and reduce this by half. Now notice the blue scale, that's the vertical axis, that's at 5.5, that's 50%. That's how you get this guy. So I can change, the proportions are the same, it's squashed down. So the vertical proportions, this distance relative to the height, this distance relative to the height, this distance relative to the height is exactly the same as this. Only everything's been squashed down. The diameter is staying the same. So that's basically how this is done. It's pretty quick and easy. Few things to note. When you draw your circle, first you want to make sure it's 36 and not 24. So you click down there on the lower right. Now watch what happens to the color of the circle when I'm not looking all the way down on it, if I'm looking into the drawing. I don't know if you can see that, but it turns green. That tells me I'm along the y-axis that goes back down into the screen. But if I get up a little ways, it'll turn blue. So you set it on the center of the axis, click and drag out, and you got a circle. So that's it. You can design hollow forms, you can get a little more sophisticated and do lidded boxes and all kinds of things. But it's a real powerful tool. It's got a learning curve, but it isn't too steep, and there's plenty of tutorials on YouTube on how to use it for other purposes. But for turning, this will get you a good start. So have fun.